Back and welcome to lesson 4. Like I mentioned at the end of the last lesson, this is our final lesson of the course that has new material. The next module is a wrap up recap module. So before we go into this last lesson, give yourself a pat on the back. You should be super proud that you made it this far. And with that being said, this lesson, we're going to talk about planning for the future and ways to scale your freelance business. So we're going to pretend that your freelance business has been popping off and firing on all cylinders for a while, and you're now at a point where you're looking for ways to scale that make sense for you. And this is not to be confused with what we talked about in the last lesson with pivoting and making changes just because you're bored. There is a difference. This is more of a natural progression of your business. Additionally, as you work with clients, you'll get more clear on what types of clients you want more of. You'll also have better ways that you can grow your business if that's what you want to do. So this lesson will be helpful as you start planning for the future. So with that, let's dive in. We'll start with testimonials and case studies. These are both great instances of social proof, especially for testimonials. People want to try before they buy. So just seeing that somebody else has had success with your services can help attract more clients. And on top of that, creating case studies based on your work with specific clients is a great strategy, especially if you want more of a certain type of client. However, even if you don't have that goal, I recommend case studies in general so that you have a record of your results and the problems that you've solved. And a bonus here is that all of this, both testimonials and case studies, make for really compelling LinkedIn content that you can broadcast out to attract more of the right attention from your ICP. It could be a post with the testimonial as an image, or you could create spin-off posts from the case study where you talk about the problem you solved, the strategy to solve it, and the results. Now, let's talk about another avenue, which is referral agreements. The term passive income is clickbaity and overplayed at this point, but referral agreements are about as close as you can get to passive income in a PPC business. So whether it's with agencies or other freelancers, this is a great way to make some additional money by referring business that you can't serve, either because they're not a fit due to the type of business they are or the service they're looking for. So if you're just doing PPC and they're looking for PR, for example, and you've got an agency that you can refer them to, you might get a referral kickback from that. And additionally, if you create a referral agreement for yourself, it can be a fantastic way to incentivize other people to refer business to you. And I've personally done this with other agencies that provide services outside of PPC. That's kind of the most natural way for that to work out because there's no conflict of interest and we're both just helping each other out. And in terms of how it works, so if you have a referral agreement with an agency and you refer business to them, it closes and you'll receive a percentage of their fee, usually around 10%, paid out each month for a certain period of time, as long as they retain. And the flip side would be true as well. So if someone refers business to you and they close, then you'd pay the referrer a percentage of the fee for a set period of time. And then there are platforms for thought leadership to elevate your profile. This can be anything from writing articles for trade publications like Search Engine Land, to signing up for speaking events, to participating in communities where you talk about PPC and offer your thoughts. There's a bunch of different options here. And I've actually started doing more of these. And I will say they are a lot of fun and it's a great way to grow your presence and grow your brand, but it's not something that can be cleanly attributed to revenue. And it is definitely not a, quick win type of scenario. It's a much slower burn. But I have found that one, it boosts my credibility, and two, it's really good for my personal brand, especially in like an education space, and embodies those values and those goals that I have for myself and my content. If I can broadcast that out to a wider audience, then that's a win for me and my personal brand. And interestingly enough, if you're consistent with LinkedIn and growing your personal brand, a lot of these opportunities will start to come your way over time. So, like I mentioned, I've written articles, I've contributed to communities like Inside Google Ads, I've been on a podcast. All of these things help build my credibility and increase my presence. I really view this as a way to generate awareness about me and my services and my brand, but I'm not banking on a ton of direct revenue coming from this. It's all in how you approach it. And then here I've outlined some additional considerations for scaling. So these are questions to ask yourself in the future, but it's good to at least cover them now in the beginning stages so you can have them in the back of your mind as you're building and working on your business. At some point, you'll need to decide if you want to niche down further or change up the types of businesses that you're serving. And this will definitely become more apparent over time. You'll find that you start to get a lot of the same types of clients, and either you'll like that or you won't, and you might need to make some changes from there. And you'll also want to ask yourself if you want to continue to work in the platforms or the channels that you're currently managing. For example, I started out by offering meta ads as a channel that I manage, but I definitely phased that out over time because I do not enjoy managing meta ads campaigns. I hate the interface, and I'm also not the biggest fan of meta. So it didn't work out for me. And then you'll want to ask yourself if there's other aspects of PPC or marketing that you're good at that you can offer as an additional service. So it could be that you offer higher value packages because you also build landing pages and you do site audits or you do SEO, anything that you can do to allow clients to add on services. Yes, you'll probably have to spend more time on it, but it does give you higher ticket deals coming forward. And then you'll also need to ask yourself when it would make sense to raise your fee and what criteria would need to be met. And then lastly, whether you want to continue to operate as a solo operator. And there are no right or wrong answers here. It's all in what feels right for you and how you want to run your business. You just want to get ahead of some of these, big existential business questions. So you're looking out for answers over time. And wrapping up this lesson, I don't have many action items here since it's all future planning based. The only thing I ask you to do is keep these questions in mind while you're operating your business and see if there needs to be any changes made, and maybe create a timeline for implementing those changes when it starts to feel right. And with that, you've completed module 6. So seriously, great work. This course has taken you from the very beginning steps of starting a freelance business all the way to planning for growth and scaling. We've covered a lot, and you should be super, super proud of yourself for making it to this point. And like I mentioned earlier, our next module is a wrap-up module where I summarize at a high level next steps and key information from each module in one place. And then from there, you'll have completed the course. I'm excited to see you over there. And once again, great job.